All right, everybody. It's the last segment of the day, and I am tired, and I'm cooking inside this little onesie, but I promised you guys 12 segments today, and I'm going to follow through. Now, this particular news, I've not really looked into it very much, but the headline really caught my attention, and I'm really glad that people in chat reminded me of this, because I almost forgot to talk about it as a whole. So, I want to start off by showing you guys a little clip from a popular video game that I really love called Red Dead Redemption 2. This clip is called Agent Milton and Ross Enter Dutch and the Gang's Camp. Let's go ahead and watch this clip. If you're wondering what agency they are agents for, it is the Pinkerton Detective Agency. It is still around today. It is hundreds of years old. And, you'll get a little bit of insight into what they do with this clip, kind of. Let's watch.
It's gonna work out, John. It's gonna work out. Listen to Dutch.
Now, I don't expect you to understand this, but I have never been more proud of you than I am right now, brother. You're doing
This game's
the right
so good.
thing.
I have a plan,
Get
Arthur.
that boy back safe. She'll kill us all.
I know, but looking at this logically, well, that boy is fine. They took him to scare us. Nobody takes a boy to harm him.
He's right, John.
What do you think, Arthur?
The boy will be fine. But, well, of course Marston's scared rotten. I mean, we killed all those people. We stirred up all that trouble. For nothing.
No, not for nothing. For living. Now, we get that boy back, and we go. Trust me.
Hey, Dutch, we got a problem.
Not a problem. Visitors. A solution. Good day, fine people. Mr. Vanderlind, Mr. Matthews, I presume. And who are you?
Rip Van Winkle.
Huh. Good day, sir. Agent Milton, Pinkerton Detective Agency. Agent Ross. Ah, Mr. Morgan, nice to see you again.
And to what do we owe the pleasure, Agent Moron?
I don't know if you're aware, but this
Bro,
is
got
a
'em.
civilized land now. We didn't kill all them savages only to allow the likes of you to act like human dignity, and basic decency was outmoded or not yet invented. This thing, it's done.
This place ain't no such thing as civilized. It's man, so in love with greed, he has forgotten himself and found only appetites.
And as a consequence, that lets you take what you please, kill whom you please, and hang the rest of us? Who made you the messiah to these lost souls you've led so horribly astray?
I'm nothing but a seeker, Mr. Milton.
You ain't much of anything more than a killer, Mr. Vanderlind.
This game's so fucking good. I'm not playing anymore because I don't want to spoil anything, but holy fucking shit is this game good. And if you haven't played it yet, you need to, because it's based as hell. Anyway, the Pinkerton Detective Agency is basically the on-running villains of the game for you and your gang, because the government and the police have basically decided, nah, we're not going after the criminal gangs ourselves, we're just going to hire this private military, basically militia agency that is, sort of subservient to the government, and that they've been contracted out. But they also get contracted out by anybody, if they've got the money for it. And notably, in the game, the reason why the Pinkertons are after you isn't actually for the government. The reason why they're after you is because very early in the game, you and the gang rob a train that belongs to a billionaire or a millionaire, because, oil baron named Cornelius, or not, it was like something Cornwall? Something Cornwall, I don't remember. It was like Cornelius Cornwall or something? Leviticus Cornwall, thank you, yeah. Leviticus Cornwall, he's a big rich guy. You rob his train, and now he wants to get back at you, so he hires the Pinkerton Detective Agency to hunt you across the country until you're either dead or captured, to be killed. That he's literally just a very rich guy who's paid a private militia that still exists now, by the way, to hunt down your gang and, kill you. And that's the story of the game, and that agency is real. Now here's the thing. In real life, what the Pinkerton Detective Agency did the most of was cracking down on protesters and strikers. You see, it is true that a lot of billionaires, or I guess I should say millionaires for the time, did hire the Pinkertons, but what they actually were used for was using violence, guns, and muscle to shut down unions, to bust unions. Because back in the day, let's just say when it came to workers unionizing and fighting for their rights, it wasn't like them going on Twitter and being like, yo, we're getting underpaid. It was them, like, getting their guns out, like, gathering outside their boss's office and saying, hey, we can't afford to feed our children. You literally just bought a new yacht. We're gonna fucking kill you if you don't pay us more. And you know, so in response to this, these employers were like, okay, let's hire a private militia group to come kill all of our employees, or at least a bunch of them until they finally surrender and get back to work. Of course, at the same time, child labor was legal, of course, so there were children working in the mines and in all these facilities. Now, you would think this is a thing of the past, but this headline has kind of been circulating a lot in the last couple days, and it is really something. Magic the Gathering publisher hires the Pinkerton Detective Agency to seize leaked cards from YouTuber's house. A mistaken cell leads private investigators to intimidate and threaten an individual and his wife. Magic the Gathering publisher Wizards of the Coast reportedly sent Pinkerton private investigators to a YouTube creator's house last week to retrieve mistakenly sold cards from an unreleased set. In doing so, the massive company upset the creator's home, allegedly harassed neighbors, and spawned a wave of criticism from the tabletop community and beyond. The company hired Pinkertons to raid someone's house because a store accidentally sold cards to somebody before they were supposed to. Jesus Christ. YouTuber Dan Cannon, also known as Old School MTG, first gained notice when he posted a video opening a box of March of the Machine: The Aftermath, leaking the contents of a trading card game set not due to hit retail until May 12th. The video exploded and apparently caught the attention of Wizards of the Coast, as Cannon's wife answered a knock on the door the following day to find Pinkertons demanding all of the unreleased product. In a video explainer published April 22nd, Cannon claims the agents threatened jail time, huge fines, and other repercussions if he didn't relinquish the stolen product, quote-unquote, which reportedly upset his wife to the point of tears. The creator said that he purchased the boxes from an acquaintance who did not realize March of the Machine: The Aftermath was a substantively different MTG product from the recent released March of the Machine set. The Pinkertons took everything, including tokens and packaging, before giving him the number of the Wizards of the Coast employee. That contact was, quote-unquote, very nice, very apologetic, according to Cannon, and assured him Wizards of the Coast does not believe anyone stole the cards. Instead, the company wanted to know where to plug the hole that allowed... Okay, this is basically them asking... They think that he stole them still, and they're trying to ask, like, okay, who sold them to you? Who gave them to you? We think that's the source. That allowed at least 22 reported boxes of unreleased booster packs to find their way to a seller and eventually his hands. The Wizards employee claimed the company would somehow compensate him with different cards at some point, but reportedly didn't offer specifics. Damn, it's like offering an employee script, which is also something those company towns back in the day used to do. The original video no longer exists on YouTube, as Cannon took it down and warned others against hosting it on any screenshots of the leaked cards. He claims the Wizards contact called it a copyright infringement thing. I guess, to be fair, it would be. Dicebreaker reached out to Wizards of the Coast and the Pinkerton Agency for comment, but did not hear back before publication. You know what would have been completely acceptable and normal to do here? Send a cease of desist, which is a completely legitimate legal road to take as a large company to a YouTuber who's leaked something that's not supposed to be public yet. Wizards of the reason why they did this is because they want to patch the leak, by the way. They sent private investigators because if they send a cease and desist, That gets them nothing. It can still leak from other sources. They sent in a private detective agency to try to find out where the leak is so they can, cut the head off the snake. Very bizarre, scummy behavior from this company. Wizards of the Coast has responded to Polygon and IO9, the former confirming that the company did hire the Pinkerton agents in order to investigate the unauthorized distribution and disclosure of embargoed product. The latter response claimed that under no circumstances would we instruct an employee or contacted agency to intimidate an individual. That's not what this person said. And Wizards strongly refutes the events described in Cannon's videos. Cannon's generally amenable tone was not present in a 3-minute follow-up video uploaded on April 25th. He says the Pinkertons harassed his elderly neighbors by knocking on their doors asking about him, claiming they had an appointment with him. He said this constituted a massive overreach by Wizards of the Coast in hiring private investigators who would disrupt his community, upset his wife, and threaten an individual over trading card game boxes. Dicebreaker reached out to Cannon for comment, but has not received a reply. For the unaware and those largely outside the U.S., Pinkerton currently exists as a private detective agency and security guard service owned by Swedish security firm Securitas AB. Their website promotes an image of professionalism that leans on a slanted version of historical Pinkertons. Their corporate investigation section specifically touts their track record of helping win civil lawsuits and litigation against current and former employees. Pinkerton's past is a sordid mixture of union busting, corporate spycraft, and serving as the blueprint for the U.S. Secret Service, which now protects current and former presidents. It was since the largest private policing force in the world and consistently infiltrated strikes, nascent unions, and other pro-worker movements to gather information and sow discord on behalf of the owners and executives. A torch the contemporary Pinkertons are all too happy to carry. They were also recently the villains of a video game, Red Dead Redemption 2, a point which eventually led to a lawsuit against developer Rockstar. Guys, I didn't even know the details of this entire case. How perfect is it that I started this segment soying out about how I learned about the Pinkertons from Red Dead, and this article ends on that note. Time is a flat circle.